All right, cool. I know Will is getting it on his side to get things in order, but as he gets things in order, let's dive in. I know people are saying where they're tuning in from. We're gonna get in the cold calling battle royale. So what is this? So what we're doing is this is a 2v2 that we have here. And so what we're going to do is we actually have recordings of a call that they've done. So we're going to dive into that. You'll see everything there, right? And then also as well, the 2v2 is we have Will, Elmer on one team, and then we have Elliot, Brandon on one team. One of those people are going to go head to head. You all in the audience will let us know what you think of the call. We're going to listen to it, Deren and I, and judge it and have some fun here. So with that being said, as we get into it, again, if you're just now tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from, what's going on and what's happening. And then as we get people in here, people probably wondering, who are these people? So we're going to do intros and we're just going to go around. You're going to intro yourself. Tell us what you do, what your work is, and then give us a fun fact. Let's start with Elliot, and then we'll go around the room, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Morgan, for inviting me here. And it's great to be with you fine folks on this fine Thursday morning. And so my name's Elliot Garcia. I am the founder at Top Mountaineer. We are a lead generation company. I am based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. We've been having a lot of great tech events out here. And so if you are coming to Vegas, make sure you ping me, say what's up. Maybe we'll have some cup of coffee. And second thing, fun fact about me, I like playing basketball. I like lifting weights, running around the treadmill, and just, yeah, keep it plain and simple. And other hobbies, maybe that can just include like maybe reading some books and drinking a lot of coffee. Yep, that's it.
What's your
Uh,
best one
uh,
rep max?
one, two, 235, 245. I think I did 245, like maybe like a half wide grip.
On bench?
Yeah.
Let's
I'm on my phone.
go.
I'm on my phone, so we're gonna try and make this work.
There he is.
There he
So
is.
Sorry,
Uh,
I
Elliot,
tried so many times.
look, we know how it is. It's all good. Elliot, appreciate the intro. Elmer, let's go to you.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet everyone. My name is Elmer Lopez. I'm a mid-market account executive over at PayScale at the moment, selling HR software. I guess a fun fact about me is, oh, well, I guess I didn't tell you where I'm from. I'm from Los Angeles. So if you're in LA, definitely hit me up. More than happy to hang out. There's not too many salespeople in LA. I guess they're all in SF. I don't meet too many of you guys here. So, but anyways, a fun fact is that I used to be a background actor and I was on Hannah Montana.
No way.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yo, I was
But
just talking about that show the other night and how kind of lit it was. You were, well, how many episodes were you in?
just one. And you can only see my back. But I was still in it. Yeah. I still got to meet Rico. I did
Yeah,
homework with
that
him
counts.
in the room.
I love
Said
that
what's
for
up
you.
to the dad. It was cool.
Did you method act for that role?
I don't even know what that means.
So clearly not.
I didn't make it that far, brother. Look where I am
That,
now.
that's actually super funny. Okay,
that's
Brandon,
cool.
talk about.
Yeah, Brandon Jepson. I'm a SMB account executive here at Awardco, HR software, originally from Sacramento, California. Fun fact about me, I don't really get hurt, but I've almost died a bunch, fallen out a two-story window, stopped my heart with a string of Christmas lights, a couple other things. But I might be invincible. I don't know what it is, but it's fun. It's fun being me.
I love it,
I
man.
grew
I
up
love
in
it.
sales. It's good.
Shout out to sales. Shout out to sales. And Will.
Okay. Fun fact, apparently I cannot connect my audio to Zoom, so that's fun fact for the day. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
You went to Teams, they got you.
We are a Teams company, so I had Zoom on my computer, it just wouldn't connect the audio. So, anyways, my name is Will Padilla. I am a mid-market account executive at Aspire. I've been selling influencer software for about 5 years. Um, I'm from Scottsdale, from Chicago, live in Scottsdale, Arizona. An actual fun fact about me, um, I know like a prince from Zimbabwe, and I met him on a Greyhound bus, and that's a long story. He's like, "Yeah, I'm basically visiting Barack Obama," and I'm like, "No, you're not." Sends me a picture next day. Sends me a picture next day in the Oval Office shaking Barack Obama's hand. So that was definitely one of the craziest stories. Meeting the prince from Zimbabwe.
All right,
No,
y'all
you're
got some,
not.
I got some crazy.
That's
I don't even
not-
want to say my fun facts because they're clearly not as fun as y'all. So I'm just never gonna share. But all right, Deren, give it an intro.
Yeah, man, the fun facts. You guys are good. I got one, but anyways, nice to meet you all. My name's Deren Rehr-Davis. I'm originally from California. I've been in New York for almost 15 years. I'm in Brooklyn now. I finally made the switch from Manhattan to Brooklyn, but I lead our go-to-market teams over at JustCall. I'm our SVP of sales. JustCall's telephony, VoIP, CCaaS platform, help you with your business communication. We've got everything from, the new popular AI agents to outbound sales dialers and everything in between. So, my fun fact, I was originally going to go with I like the Yankees or something like that, but I guess that's not going to work too well with this group. So, I guess my fun fact was when I was a small child in San Francisco at FAO Schwartz. I don't even know if they're still around, but I was running through the store, probably stepping on those little pianos and stuff like that as a small child, and I ran into Nicolas Cage and I thought he was my dad, and he picked me up and brought me to my family and took a picture. And so I've got this random picture with Nicolas Cage. But anyway, that's it.
The legend.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
FA shorts, those are the toys, right?
It's a toy store, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We had one in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, I think the one in New York still exists. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Y'all have some crazy fun facts. These are some crazy fun facts. So I'm Morgan. I'm hosting this webinar today. I own a company called AMP. We help teams with social selling, LinkedIn outbound, and sales nav. My fun fact is I've met Michael Jordan.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
No
And,
way.
Did you talk to him?
briefly, nothing crazy. But the thing with Michael Jordan is Alexa. Alexa's going crazy. The thing is Alexa. Oh my gosh, hold on.
He's
So
about to
essentially,
call Alexa.
Alexa's going. You'll see
Everyone
Alexa.
say, "Hey, Alexa."
Alexa wants to get involved. Yeah.
You
So
told her to call you Michael Jordan. You can admit it.
yeah.
I thought you were
No,
Mamba
dude,
mentality, Morgan.
Yo, Alexa, crazy. Yeah. No, the thing is that I don't know if you meet certain people and I just felt his intensity. It was the craziest thing I've ever
The aura.
No, it was
The
actually we talk about aura, but it was I was oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I was I can only talk to you for a couple minutes. I gotta get out of here. No, but he was he was cool, he was chill, but I could feel it was he had intensity and competitiveness, and we were just he was watching his son play basketball, but you could feel it he was if I could get on this court and cook everyone, I would. Yeah.
Which son was it? Marcus Jordan on UCF?
Yeah, it was him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin played with him in high school. I'm from Chicago too.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, my cousin played with him in what was it? It was in high school. Oh gosh, I forgot that little high school. I think it was Whitney, and he was on the JV team, and Marcus and Jeffrey were on the senior team. So that's another fun fact. My cousin played with the Jordan boys.
Literally the smallest world right now. All right, cool, y'all. So what you're here for is the cold calling competition. Like I said, we got a 2v2, and we're about to get into our first 1v1. So how this is going to go is we are going to listen to the call. I'm going to share my screen. You all will be able to hear the call. As you go through the call, you can obviously give your feedback in here. Once we go through the first call, we're going to let the person who made the call come up and defend themselves. How was the call? What do they think? Deren and I will give our feedback, and then we'll let the other person do the recording. We'll give our feedback as well, and then you all will vote who you believe was the best call there, right? So that's how we're gonna do this. So with that being said, we're gonna dive right into our first 1v1, y'all. We're gonna have some fun here, and the people that we're gonna have go first is we're gonna do Will versus Brandon. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna have Will's call go first. We got an 8-minute here, but as we go through it, again, we're gonna pause, we're gonna talk about stuff, and then we're gonna go through it. So y'all, so let's dive into Will, and then also as well, make sure everyone put in everyone in the chat so that you can talk to us, and then we're gonna dig into it. So I'm gonna share my screen, and then I'm gonna play so everybody can hear. Let me know if you can't hear it, but you all should be able to hear it.
Who's calling, please? Hi, this is Will with InboxGhost.ai. Hey, you're probably going to hate me because this is a cold call. Would you like to hang up or roll the dice to give me an opportunity to tell you why I'm calling today?
Okay, I'm gonna pause because I actually, Deren, we're just gonna talk here. What do you think of this intro?
You know, I like that it's bold. I think like it's a good way, like having the confidence to be able to go out and say something like that is you can't teach it. You know what I mean, or I mean, maybe it takes some practice, but it takes a lot of confidence. At the same time, I don't know if I'm going to give someone that exit right away from the beginning, and I'm going to see if I can try and convince them to you know some other way to stay on.
Okay. I'm also with you too. This is a different, it's a pattern interrupt, so I'm always for it across the board, but we're gonna see what happens. And again, for everybody tuning in, provide your feedback too, but we'll continue to listen to the call.
Hi, Will. I'll give you a quick moment. What exactly are you offering and how does it bring value? Let's get straight to the point. Yeah, totally understand. Thanks for that, Anna. So I'm actually reaching out. We're working with some VPs and directors like yourself, helping them improve email deliverability by navigating around spam filters and common domain restrictions with Gmail and Outlook. And I wanted to reach out to you to see how your team's email deliverability is coming along. Okay, I see. Improving email deliverability sounds useful, but let's cut to the chase. What's the pricing like, and what kind of ROI can I expect from this? Yeah, before we kind of go into the pricing, and I appreciate it. I know it's a cold call. I'm calling out of the blue here, so I appreciate you taking my call. But before we kind of go into pricing, typically there's a value proposition and a value impact that companies like yours would like to understand. So just from my perspective, to be able to give you an accurate price and understand how we can help you, how is your current email deliverability with your sales team? And do you find yourself navigating around spam filters well, or is this a challenge you're currently dealing with? I understand where you're coming from, Will, but I really need to know if this is worth my time. Can you give me a ballpark figure on pricing or a specific example of ROI your clients have seen? That will help me decide if it's worth. Yeah. I want to key in on what you mentioned when you say it's worth your time. What is worth your time? Worth my time means understanding upfront if the cost aligns with the value. For example, if your service can significantly improve email deliverability and directly impact revenue, I need to know how much I'd be investing and what kind of results I can expect. Yeah. Can you share some specifics? Totally understand.
Okay, Deren, so far on this call, I mean, we're chopping it up. Everyone can give their feedback here. Deren, what do you think about this call so far?
So again, I think the confidence super clear. I give like that's a fantastic job. I also think that you're doing a really good job keeping this person on the line despite some pushback, which is great. And then I also really like that you're helping set expectations. Now, I'd say the one difference or small change that I would make is around the ROI question. I don't know if she was asking about pricing, and in a cold call, I'm always going to assume that they're not. Like, if you're cold calling someone, ROI to me is like the value proposition, and I think you answered that first with, you know, hey, let's not dive into pricing. Usually that happens a little bit later. I probably would have gone straight into the assumption of how are we helping businesses? And you did a good job, to be clear, of using her title, saying, you know, with email deliverability, I think we're talking to similar types of folks to yourself, but I would probably like to have a really clear ROI value pitch that's going to go into with businesses like yours as well. We're helping them save or increase X, Y, and Z, and that might be your hook.
Yeah, I think that's a good call as well. I know on the pricing side, I think that these are good. I like the clarifying questions that are being asked here to dive a lot deeper. So obviously that makes it a lot easier for them to dive in, get the result, whatever it is. So I like that from Will, your perspective, you're diving down here and getting into that. So that's at least what we're seeing so far, but we'll continue on and then we'll go from here.
What would you feel like would be a fair price to help you with those challenges?
I'm not in a position to guess what's fair without knowing what you offer. I need to hear your pricing structure, examples of ROI your clients have achieved. If you can't provide that, I'm not sure this conversation will be productive.
No, I certainly can provide that. I'm just curious for you, what's the value that you would perceive a solution be that can get your email deliverability scores to 95%? That's what we're typically working with other customers. They're seeing 95% success rates. They're moving around spam filters. They're moving around email blockers. And they're typically seeing a 5x return from our platform. So if you were to just kind of give me a ballpark, what would the perceived value of that be?
A 95% deliverability rate and a 5x ROI definitely sound promising. But again, I need to know your pricing structure to evaluate if the cost aligns with that value. Can you give me a range or starting point for your service?
Yeah, so our starting point's usually around $99 a month. However, this can be customized. Typically, the next step would be to understand the true impact that we can have on your specific organization when it comes to deliverability rates. Typically, the next step would be just like a 20-minute call to go through the platform so you can actually understand the impact value behind the deliverability rates for your specific use case. I wanted to ask if there's a good time to connect, perhaps tomorrow or Thursday.
Thanks for sharing that, Will. $99 a month is reasonable, but I'd need to see more specifics on how it would directly impact my team. I'm not ready to commit to another call just yet. If you have any materials or case studies you can send over, I'd be happy to review them first.
Yeah, well, to your point, you just said that you need to see it in order to understand the actual value. That's exactly what I'm going to do. On the next call, we'll literally just go through the platform. You can see the impact value. I have a feeling you're really going to like it. And then we can go forward from there. So I did my part. I know I cold called you, but I shared how we can help in the pricing. The next step typically is a quick demo walkthrough. After that, you'll have everything you need to understand the value. And it's certainly not a pull your credit card out now type of situation, more so just an evaluation to see if this could be a fit. Does that sound fair?
So, Deren, we're going to go to you real quick. What is your thoughts on how he's handling this with these objections so far?
I like how you're handling like the objection piece. Like, what is it? 75, 85% of our jobs is dealing with no's, if not more, especially on a cold call. Probably closer to 90, 95%. I like how you're dealing with the objections. I think having that pitch around a value prop, that hook, is probably the piece that's missing, where how do you get someone to spend more time with you if they don't understand what your pitch is or what your product is? And that's really hard to do from a cold call perspective. But I think you're doing a good job. I think just, maybe even diving into that pain point of like what's not working today and understanding if there's something, because you're also not going to sell anything to someone without a problem. At least that's what I always like to say. And if you dive into that pain point of, hey, what's your email deliverability, and what's your expectation for it, that might be that value prop that hooks them for the next call.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I think actually I like the back and forth, right, on this piece too. Like how, even from this perspective, how you're continuously pushing, right, which Will did, which is 100% what you should do in this scenario. And also to just address the chat as a whole. I know people commented on it. These calls are AI. The reason for that is from a legal perspective, like having real calls is something that we just aren't able to do, to be fair. So these calls are AI to get the most realistic perspective, to at least give some information and provide feedback. So I'm just giving you all that take, right? Seller's real person, prospect is AI. I'll clarify it one more time. So if you're like, hey, that's not for me, completely cool. But I also want to tell you as well that this is AI. We program it in a way so that it actually could be as close I know it's not a prospect, as close to a prospect as possible. So I want to clarify that for everybody, just so that you know that this is AI and this is how we're going to go about it. But we will be providing tips and things along the way. So if you do have questions overall on cold calling, put them in the Q&A, right? And then from there, right, we'll be able to answer your questions. So if you want to get more contextual, everybody on this call does make calls, like real calls. So if you have questions, make sure that you put them inside of the Q&A. If this is not for you, completely fine as well. I just want to call that out. And if you're negative, I would just suggest you to leave so that everyone can learn from this experience. So that being said, we will continue on into the call, and then we'll continue to go for here.
I appreciate the effort, Will, but I'm not ready to commit to a demo right now. If you can send over some materials or a brief overview of the platform, I'll review it and reach out if it seems like a good fit. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, Anna, real quick. Typically when brands say that, there might be some hesitation in booking a next step. What's the hesitation in booking a next step for a demo?
Honestly, Will, it's just about time. I'm cautious about committing to calls without being sure it's worth it. If you can send me something tangible to review first, I'll have a better sense of whether this aligns with my needs. That's all.
I'm kind of confused though, because you said that a 95% deliverability rate and a 5x return at $99 a month would be suitable for what you need. So I'm just confused on what I'm missing.
You're not missing anything, Will. It's just how I prefer to evaluate things. I like to review materials first before committing to a call. It's not about the value you've shared. It's about how I manage my time. If
Got
you
it.
can send something over, I'll take a look and follow up if it makes sense.
Okay, well, let's do this. And again, I'm just going to try one more time here because I want to make sure that you feel that I'm accommodating to your needs, but also just kind of understanding how typically someone would purchase our software. Typically, someone would book the call for a demo. We don't have to do that. But what we can do is I can send you over materials and we can book a 10-minute call to go over those materials together. It's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes to go through by yourself anyways. At least we can go through those together. Does that sound fair? We can go over the materials together on a 10-minute call tomorrow.
I appreciate you trying to accommodate, Will, but I prefer to review the materials on my own first. If I find it aligns with my needs, I'll reach out to schedule a call. Thanks again for your time and understanding.
What exactly would you like me to follow up with?
Please send over any case studies, examples of ROI, or a brief overview of how the platform works. That will help me evaluate if it's a good fit for my needs. Thanks,
Okay.
Will.
And when would you have the opportunity to review the material?
I'll review it as soon as I can, but I can't commit to a specific time right now. If it looks like a good fit, I'll reach out to schedule a follow-up. Thanks again.
Anna, I'm just a bit confused here. It seems that this isn't really a big priority for you, and you might just be pushing me off to push me off. Typically, when I talk to brands and they have deliverability issues and they hear our price point, it's quite affordable, and our return, they're more than willing to do another call. I understand your schedule is quite busy, but I'm just feeling like this isn't a priority for you. Would you agree?
You're right, Will. It's not a top priority for me at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm open to exploring solutions, but I need to approach it on my own terms.
Yeah.
These service
What is a top
materials-
priority for you, though? Forget deliverability. What is a top priority for you?
Right now, my focus is on managing my time effectively and prioritizing initiatives that have an immediate and clear impact on my goals. If email deliverability becomes a pressing issue, I'll definitely revisit this. Thanks for understanding.
What if I could save you 5 hours per week from having to go through your team's email settings and checking on deliverability? What if I could save you 5 hours per week? What would that impact be?
Saving 5 hours a week sounds appealing, but I'd need to see concrete proof of how that would work and the actual impact on my team's results. If you can send over materials that clearly outline this, I'll review them and decide if it's worth exploring further.
Okay, save you the most
Great.
precious thing to you, which is time. If I can save you the most precious thing to you, which is time, what's the hesitation in booking another call? I'm confident we can save you 5 to 10 hours per week by our solution. I'm confident.
Thanks for your time, Will. I'll review the materials if you send them over and reach out if it's a fit. Have a great day.
Okay. So Will was not giving up. That's like to me.
Will, you
Welcome to the
crushed.
chat. I saw a couple in the chat what they would have given up earlier. Like, that for sure could have been the scenario for, that could have been the case, but he kept going. So what we're gonna do is in the feed across the board, like if anybody wants to give feedback on it, great. Again, positive feedback. Don't be super negative. I see some people in the chat. Don't do that. So Deren, tell me what you think.
Well, I thought you took it home. I thought the persistence was fantastic. I saw a couple bits of reverse selling in there, like, hey, this isn't the right fit. Force their cards or for them to show their hands. And so I thought you came back with a really strong value proposition. Like, I think you found your groove and kind of one thing I actually always think is a phenomenal sales skill is being able to tie little bits of a conversation live, especially when you're in a live call, into previous parts of a conversation. And I thought you did a good job of kind of bringing some things back and kind of using her own words against her. And I thought that ended well, especially the persistency and like I said, those other points.
Will, before I go, talk to us. What were you thinking during this call? Were you like, dang, I need to get out of here? Or you're like, I got to keep pushing for the call? What were your thoughts now reflecting on this call across the board?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I've always sold. I'm very confrontational as a sales rep, especially if someone doesn't want to book a next step. I'm like, hey, out of curiosity, what's hesitation? And people aren't used to being called out, but being called out reveals actual pain points and reveals actual hesitations and also reveals if things are actually a priority. So I just felt like I had to take the same way that I would run a discovery call or a demo on a cold call. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely difficult, and it was one of the points where if you're a sales rep and someone's doing that to you, I wouldn't even want to waste time booking a call with them. So
Yeah. Yeah, I do Jacob in the chat. I think it was one of those things where it's like probably about maybe most people probably feel this, maybe my feedback was maybe 3 or 4 minutes in. You really could have like, hey, like, are we doing this or not? And then maybe finding, I know we were AI, but can we find someone else to potentially talk to? Could I get an intro to anyone else in the organization? But I do think the biggest thing for anyone listening in that they could have learned from this call was how you were, one, patient. Because I'll be honest with you, I would have dipped out early. I would have been like, yeah, I do not have time for you. Like, I'm out of here. But I think also as well, you have really good pose and patience, which is the strength here, and you ask really good layering questions to continuously get this person to think, right? Is the goal. So I that's probably the biggest takeaway from it. I think the biggest feedback I would have had is like 4 minutes in, I would have been like I always believe in the rule of threes. Like I always try to push for the meeting 3 times. If after the third time and you've continuously like not giving me that, then I will just cut it off and I'll either try to ask for the intro to someone else if I'm making the call, or like I just realize this person maybe isn't the right fit, or we're dealing with obviously it's AI, but we're dealing with people, right? So the way I think about it is like you kind of have to find a way to either cut that off so that I can go talk to that next person. But that was my overall feedback on that one. So that's the case there. But we're gonna go to the next one. But before we do that, we do have some questions that are coming in. And this is more so for you, Will, if you want to answer this, or anyone on the panel here that wants to answer this before we get into our next piece. And the thing that it's asking here is any suggestions of terms to use other than cold call. They said that they wanted maybe a different word that they can use, maybe as that intro. So I want to see if y'all use anything besides cold call when you're saying, hey, this is a cold call, or do you do something different? Do you even address that it's a cold call? Do you have another way of saying it, etc.? So I'm curious if anyone has a different perspective on that.
I haven't ever. It's always been cold call.
Yeah.
You could use softening language. Like, I know I called you out of the blue. I think I just saw that pop up in the chat. Or like, hey, you weren't expecting this call. I'll usually qualify it still and say, hey, you weren't expecting my call. This is a cold call. Like, I think just naming it has always helped me get a little more credibility and transparency, for being honest, but that's just me.
I think it depends on the persona. Like if you're calling a salesperson or a CRO or whoever it is, like calling it a cold call is probably the right thing to do. If you're calling a CIO or someone that might be famous on LinkedIn for, bashing cold callers, I might take a slightly different approach.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one, Darren. I'll just add my 2 cents, Morgan, if that's okay. I've called in different industries, and debt recovery is they're like this. It's like, hey, get to the point, and I personally like permission-based openers. And like Darren was saying, it kind of resonated with me. Like if it's a CIO, you had literally 5 seconds to get their attention, and that's it. They'll cut you off. So it's just like, hey, I know that this is the cold call. Just wanted to let you know, and boom, 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 and that's it. And I'll send you an email. And if you get to it, but that's just my 2 cents on what I've seen.
Elmer, anything you want to add before we hop in this last question, and then we'll get to the next call so we can finish the round.
I did the same thing as Will, so I kind of agree with him there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't I do the permission based openers as well. I know some people absolutely hate them, and there's always a fight over them. I actually I don't think it's that deep though, to be fair. Like I like made a comment on a post the other day, and I was like, as long as you know the industry and you have confidence and you have a level of swag, you will be really good at cold calling. I actually think that's my belief.
Actually, I'd go back on that on what I said because like some people do too many permission-based openers. I feel like they'll ask
That's
twice.
true.
You know what I mean? And I was listening to this person's cold call because I have a sales community and I listen to some of their cold calls and try to help them out. And they asked for permission twice. I'm like, stop asking for permission. Just go into it. Like they already got the point. You already asked for it, you know? That's why for me, when I call, I'm just like, hey, it's Elmer from XYZ. How you doing today? And then I go straight into it. Because at the end of the day, you just want to find out as soon as possible, is this a waste of time or not? You know what I mean?
I think Morgan, your point is huge. Like if you're an industry expert, if you're calling as an industry expert versus trying to sell a specific tool, like I talk about that with my team all the time. Like I would much rather you learn the entire ecosystem and industry than even be an expert on our product, right? Like I want you to go add value and help these folks. If you're going in trying to sell something, people are going to put their guards up right away.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Really, really quick, right? For every rapid fire, then we'll go to the next thing. Do you believe tone and confidence is the most important factor in getting into the conversation as opposed to pitch, permission-based opener, etc.? If not, what do you think? So rapid fire on y'all on this chat. You also can answer this question as well. Do you believe tone and confidence is the most important factor into the conversation as opposed to pitch, permission-based opening? If not, what do you think is? Again, and this is a quick rapid fire from everyone, and then we'll hop into the next call here.
I 100% think tone is everything because if you sound confident and you sound like you know the person, and I'm like, "Hey Morgan, how you doing today?" It sounds like I know you. Like I'm supposed to be talking to you. So if it sounds like I'm supposed to be talking to you and you're supposed to be talking to me, we're gonna be on the phone longer versus, "Hey, this is cold call. I'm reading off a script." You know what I mean? Like that's when you're gonna get hung up on.
Okay. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're controlling for any one factor, that's the one to focus on. Like everything else, you can kind of get by on if you have good tone, confident tone, tone that shows like confidence in your research or just knowing the industry and the personas you speak to. So I would agree with Elmer on that.
Elliot, talk to us.
Yeah, tonality. I just did a post on that like 2 weeks ago. It is crucial. I think excuse me, I think I had too much coffee. I think I did a post on that, and tonality is everything because I came from the hospitality industry, and all I knew was how to greet people, like, "Hi, how are you?" And so that was ingrained in my brain. And so when I got to cold calling, it was kind of like, "Oh, wait a minute, this kind of makes sense. All I have to do is just bring my hospitality voice into this." And that's all I did. That's how I got from not knowing anything about tech, just cold calling, to just following the script and then eventually making it my own. So I agree 100% that tonality is everything. Even if you have an accent, even if you are from a different country, it doesn't matter. If you can have a great tone, like Elmer was saying, that's like, "Hey Morgan, how are you? How's it going?" Or even wherever you're at, tonality is everything.
We'll go to you, Darren, and then we'll get to the next person. thing is
Sorry.
muted. Yeah, you're
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think I would be able to have been successful in my career without mastering tone. It's very, very crucial. It makes people feel like you know what you're doing. You're a professional. So, yeah, tone's everything. I think tone is like 90% of it, and then 10% is actually what you're saying.
People can
I-
feel it. But Darren, go.
Yeah, people can feel it. I agree with that. And to be fair, I think a lot of different like aspects matter. But I do think tone, you can't not have tone and like have some of the other things that might matter and still be successful. Like it's just that those first 5 seconds, right, of the call where you haven't added any value, they're there because of your tone, like of who, like what you're bringing to them, right, from an attitude perspective. And so, yeah, a lot of different things matter. I wouldn't even say it's like there might be some other things that are on par with it, but you have to have it, otherwise you're going to be dead in water. I always say if you give them an out, they're going to take it, right? So,
Yeah. You gotta be able to have that. We're about to share the screen and we're gonna go to Brandon's call here, but you really have to understand and people how do you like practice tone. This is gonna sound Brandon, that you said it, this is gonna sound crazy. How I practice tone, pace, and confidence is I would literally do my pitch in the mirror when I was an SDR. Sounds super psychotic, but like I literally would look in the mirror and like look at my face to see how I would respond to things, how I would respond to objections, how I needed to have certain pace. That is what I did, and that actually helped me out a ton. Matthew, you said listen to calls. I did the same thing. I live in Arizona now, but I used to live in Atlanta. If you've been in Atlanta, traffic is absolutely terrible. It's actually awful. I don't even know how people still live there, but it's so bad that I would just listen to my calls on the way home to have a level of sanity. But also, I was able to learn and get better, and then it allowed for me to then get an understanding of like how I could improve and what I can be doing. So that's also another pace as well. So that's the case there. So y'all, we're gonna go into this call, and then this is about 3 minutes here. So same thing. I'm gonna go through all the way. Then you guys can feedback in the chat. Again, this is AI to clarify. But then once we're going to this is Brandon's call, and then y'all will vote to see who wins this round, and then we'll go to the next one. Okay, so let's play it.
Hello, this is Anna. Who's calling, please?
Hey, Anna, Brandon with Awardco. How's it going?
Hi, Brandon. I'm doing well, thanks. What's this call about?
I know I'm calling you out of the blue and you weren't expecting my call. Do you have a minute? I promise to be brief.
Sure, I can spare a minute. What are you offering and how does it bring value?
Yeah, so I'm working with people leaders such as yourself to build culture with modern employee recognition strategies. No idea if this is relevant. How are you using, employee culture initiatives today?
Brandon, I appreciate the context, but I'm more interested in understanding the pricing and the potential return on investment for what you're offering. Could you break that down for me?
Yeah, sounds like you're already in the market for something like this. Is that right?
Not necessarily, Brandon. I'm just trying to understand if what you're offering is worth my time. Could you focus on the pricing and ROI, please?
Yeah, so typically, depending on your head count, which we can talk about later, but will range from somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 annually. The ROI is we typically see 14% employee retention in the first 6 months and 11% engagement increase, which means a lot more, involvement, a lot more productivity from your employees. These are things we'll actually track for your organization specifically so that you can see organization-specific ROI at your workplace. Sound like it might be worth a look?
Thanks for breaking that down, Brandon. The pricing seems straightforward, but I'd need more clarity on how those retention and engagement percentages translate into tangible benefits for my organization. Can you give a specific example of how this has worked for a company similar to mine?
Yeah, so for example, we have a client down the road. They are a bank, and they, in their first year, increased retention rates to 33%. Year over year.
see how this aligns with my specific needs. Before we go further, could you clarify if there are any additional costs or hidden fees beyond the annual pricing you mentioned?
No, there's no hidden fees. In fact, that's why I called you out of the blue, is to set up a time where I can actually kind of walk through this with you so that you have a better idea, maybe some visuals. I know I called out of the blue. I don't want to assume to know your business. Would this be worth a chat maybe on this Friday or this upcoming Monday next week for you?
I appreciate the offer, Brandon, but I'm not ready to commit to a meeting just yet. I'd need to see more concrete examples of ROI and how this would directly impact my business. For now, it'll pass. Thanks for reaching out.
Okay, so we'll open it up, and we're gonna basically vote on who won this round between them two. But we'll have now Brandon a chance to just speak. Don't vote yet. Brandon, give a chance to speak on that call, defend yourself, etc. We will give small feedback, and then we'll open up the floor here. So go ahead and go.
Yeah, I wanted to qualify the pitch because I had some technical difficulty connecting my Google to JustCall, and I pretty much didn't get the chance to read the prompt. So I pitched a Wardco, which is where I am now. I think this call is a pretty good representation of, like, if I'm sitting down to call 50 people or whatever, like this is a pretty good groove, a good representation of the groove I can get into. I felt she was a little rude interrupting me when I tried to give her what she was asking for with the actual case study and how I was going to relate the retention into ROI. But I do think that I think learning from Will's call a little bit, maybe asking a little more questions to get her own words around like what's important. Because I know, with the email deliverability one, she was like, yeah, 5X would be helpful. Cool. Well, it sounds like it would be helpful. Maybe you're dealing with this as a problem. Like, here's how we solve it. And then obviously she said no to Will. She's a tough AI bot. We get it. But like, if you in the chat use this JustCall AI bot, or if you use a similar one and get good at even facing that level of difficulty, like, I'm confident 8 times out of 10 at least that I would have gotten a set from that talk track if I'd gotten that far in. So that's what I'll say about all of that. But roast me on the fundamentals. I'm here for it.
I got a quick question for you though. At one point you asked her, I think you said, it sounds like you're already evaluating solutions like this. Was that a shot in the dark, or what made you go down that path?
Yeah, for me, I heard that as like she was so quick to be like, yeah, what's the price in ROI? And I was like, oh, well, this feels a little abrupt. Like, I feel like if maybe she was a real person, they're maybe doing, for my industry at least, they're probably doing something in-house and building something out or looking at other vendors. So like it was kind of a Josh Braun play of like, either sounds like you're looking, sounds like you're on cloud 9. Like, I'm trying to gauge sentiment on her end so that I can then play off of it.
Yeah, I like that. So like, I guess I'll jump straight into my feed. I thought you did a really good job. I liked your opening. You may have combined your opening. Hey, I'm calling from so-and-so. Do you have a minute to discuss, your engagement or whatever kind of value proposition or that hook? Like, I thought that was one piece, but I thought, yeah, I'm just reading my note. I thought you did really well. And the other part is when you asked about the engagement, I think at 10 or 11%, maybe tying that into, typically we see with businesses like yours, their engagement's at 5%, and we can help you get to 10 or 11%. And that will prevent some of those, what's the ROI, what's the ROI? And I think Anna's got that ingrained in her code. Almost said brain. But yeah, I thought it was good.
Thank you. Love that.
I thought it was good. I think Jacob, I see what you're saying on the how's it going. I'm always typically not a fan of it, but again, as I said earlier, if you have a certain pace and tone and you know how to deliver it, it can work really well for people. So it's hard for me to say this intro is completely not going to work. It's just everyone's different. So that'd be like the only thing I would say, right? But I think the questions are good. The flow was good. You kept it concise. You moved along the way. and it's really tough. But I think at the end of the day, like you were able to at least get to that end result. So, all right, in the chat, y'all, who do you think won this round? We're gonna go to the next round. We're gonna make it quick here because due to time. But who do you think won this round? Was it Brandon? Was it Will? Let us know in the chat, and we'll see who wins the round. So let's just see what people are saying. We got Will, we got Brandon, we got. Okay, we got people chiming in. So let us know in the chat as we go here. We got actually a pretty good mix here. Will, everyone. Okay, Brandon's coming in hot now. This is hard to tell. Okay, we got a lot of Brandons. I think Will, Stone Cold Steve Will. I think you should win just because that I think there's actually kind of fire. Okay, cool. So the votes are still coming in as we're here in the chat. Let's see. I think it looks like, from what I'm seeing, it looks like it looks like a draw. I think Will probably inches out by a little bit here. Anna, since people saying Anna definitely cooked. So Anna definitely was cooking people, for sure. But it looks like you might have inched that one out there, right there. But it's super, super close as it looks like in the chat. But here we have, again, 12 minutes. We're going to go into the next calling here. So next up, we have Elmer, we have Elliot, and we're going to dive into these calls. We're going to start with Elliot across the board. If again, we'll keep going in. But yeah, Anna was cooking prospect. Go ahead. Was someone saying something? Oh, okay. So, okay, cool. We got Elliot coming next. And, we're going to see what he does, right, when it comes to this breakdown, right? So I would say, the calls, again, I'll say this again because I see some people chiming in on it. These calls are AI. They are not real people. It sounds real, but to a degree, but they're not real people. So if you're asking, so that's what we're going to be doing here. And then we're going to go into this call. And as we go into this call, again, provide the feedback. Again, as we have about 11 minutes here, so I'm going to try to get in the last one so we can vote here, and then hang tight with us here. So we're about to dig in, and yeah, if y'all have any questions, obviously we can dig into it, but this is what we're about to do. So give me 2 seconds. Let me share my screen. Cool. All right.
Hello? Who's this?
Hey, hello, hi. How you doing? This is Elliot with InboxGhost.ai. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's this about?
Yeah,
Make it quick. I don't have a lot of time.
absolutely. And I promise I'm not sending any extended car warranty or asking about your printer toner level. Is that cool?
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Let's get to the point. What are you selling?
Absolutely. So I'm calling on behalf of Inbox, and a lot of these inboxes are hunting their email outreach. So if you ever feel like your emails are ghosting your prospects before they even get a chance to ghost you, have you ever felt something like that?
Look, I don't know if my emails are ghosting anyone. I sent them, and that's about it. What exactly are you offering here?
Yeah, so exactly. So most reps don't realize their beautifully crafted emails are ended up in spam folders, promo tabs, or just evaporating. So that's where InboxGhost.ai comes in, and we make sure your emails actually show up where they're supposed to, the primary inbox. So Inbox works closely behind the scenes. So think of us as your sales team's personal ghostbusters, boosting your deliverability, bypassing spam filters, and making sure your domain reputation isn't tanking your pipeline. Does that make sense?
All right. I get the gist, but how exactly do you ensure emails land in the primary inbox?
Yeah.
Don't give me vague marketing fluff. I want specifics. What's the actual mechanism behind this?
Yeah, actually, yeah, thank you for, I like that you're curious. It sounded like you were in the elevator. So hopefully I'm not catching you while you're about to go into your work laptop. So just to kind of give you, we're kind of like Casper. If Casper was obsessed with email infrastructure and drank too much coffee. So exactly, we have behind the scene email marketers that work closely just to ensure that all the DKIM, debark, and everything is laid out properly. sometimes, you know, a lot of the wiring can be misplaced, and even in the, you know, greatest startups, right? So that's why we hire the best, you know, to perform the best. And so I love to just kind of get you 15 minutes just to give you a walkthrough, just so you can visually see the product. That cool with you?
Hold on. You're throwing around terms like DKIM and DMARC, but you haven't explained how your tool actually fixes these issues. And why should I trust your team to do it better than my own IT department?
Yeah, right. You know, and you're probably asking yourself, like, how do I trust this guy that just called me out the blue? And I get it. You know, more than anything, Robert, I just wanted to kind of give you just a quick glimpse on how we can do it. I'll send you a one-pager, how we are improving it, and it's by navigating around the spam filters and domain restrictions. So this will just kind of increase your deliverability rate. So it could constantly, you can be seeing them land on the inbox. And there's more, you know, tad bits that I probably can't explain, that my IT personal department can explain it to you and further in depth. And we can just kind of jump on a 15-minute call and you can just see it yourself.
Look, I'm not committing to anything without seeing hard evidence that this works. Send me
Yeah,
that one pager
absolutely.
you mentioned, and I'll take a look.
Mhm.
If it's convincing,
Okay.
maybe you'll consider a call. But I'm not wasting 15 minutes on vague promises. Deal?
Yeah. All right. I'll send you that email. Is your email still such and such?
Yeah, that's correct. Send it over, and I'll review it when I have time.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. I'll call you tomorrow just to make sure you reviewed it.
Don't bother calling unless I respond to your email. If I'm interested, I'll reach out.
Okay, Skeptical Stu is not playing games. Like,
Holy moly, gee, that's a rough
played
one.
with Skeptical Stu.
Oh
That's
my
like
God.
that sounds like a cold call I've had back in the day. I'm to be honest. That's something I feel like I've been on that call before. I kind of had PTSD. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I'm crying right now.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. We have 6 minutes left. We need to get to Elmer. So real quick, Elliot, talk to us about this call. Do you feel good? Do we need to send you to therapy? Like, I don't know. Like I feel like there's a lot that happened there. Talk to us.
Oh
There
my
we
God, I'm
we'll get
still
to the next one.
crying.
Wow.
So I thought I was going with Anna, and then I forgot you had I didn't even know his name because it would kind of went in and out, and then I was like Skeptical Stew. So then I realized at the end once I sent it. So I was going with it. It sounded like he was in the elevator trying to get to his office, and so I wasn't trying to take too much of his time. But what I did try to understand is he kept Skeptical Stew kept asking me about what was the ROI and what was our value prop, right? What was difference between already what the IT department had and what we brought to the team. And so a lot of times when it comes down to somebody already having a product, I don't try to do the, you know, rip and replace type of thing, because if it's working and they already been having a vendor relationship, then I don't know what the audience thinks or what you, Morgan, would kind of, you know, talk about this. And it's like the rip and replace. It's like what how is Ghost, you know, .ai gonna help you know, with our deliverability, unless there's like a huge pain that they're gonna be like, hey, you know what, we're gonna take out our, you know, $2,000 budget for this. So that's where I was kind of just like, hey, I just send you a value prop, you know, a one pager, you know, and I'll follow up with you and try to start a relationship from there and see how, you know, further down we can replace whatever they got going on, because he did ask me that question. But from the funny stuff and all that, you know, it's just sometimes you just got to have fun out there, you know. Cold calling is hard, you know, but just don't make it hard on yourself.
There we go. Deren, anything you want to quickly say as we get to Elmer and we wrap up this, and then we'll do the final vote and we'll get out of here.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. Marketing fluff. Holy moly, that was yeah. I remember some calls like that, but yeah, I thought you dealt with it well. You know, I thought you know, I think you know, this goes back to the persona piece, and I guess it's the only piece I'll address, but the ghosting email. I think like at first I was like, is that why Skeptical Stu is so pissed off because he used the word ghosting? Is it the wrong persona? And then I thought you landed it very well after. Well, let me explain what this is. And so I thought that was a nice transition, but like that was the only thing going through my head was like, was he upset by the ghosting word? Like he doesn't like that, or like what's going on? And so I'd just be careful with those, like the persona piece. Like maybe that's not the right term for someone, or maybe it is. And in Stu's case, I don't know if anything's the right term, but I thought you did a good job overall.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Do the AIs do agree to call? They're just savages. As you guys see, like,
They pick up. They pick up.
just like the prospects, they're savages, and you have to figure it out. So that's what's really going on there. All right, y'all. From time perspective, we're gonna share this last call here across the board, and we'll have some fun here. But the thing is, this one I know you all want the transcript. I'm not gonna be able to get the one for this one because it's an MP3 that we had just come in due to some technical stuff. So I do apologize in advance for not having the transcript, but also we do have a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure y'all can leave in a timely manner. So we'll play this last one. We'll do the vote. Hopefully, y'all learned a couple things. You had some good laughs. Maybe now you realize how savage AI can be. But yeah, let's go into it.
Give you a quick call because inbox goes.
Hello, this is Anna speaking. Who's calling, please?
Hey, Anna, it's Elmer from inboxghost.ai. How you doing today?
Hi, Elmer. I'm doing fine, thanks. What is Inbox Ghost AI and how can it help me?
Yeah. Look, I'm just giving you a quick call because inboxghost.ai can help you with email deliverability. Just curious what you guys are doing today for email deliverability to make sure your emails are getting delivered.
Thanks for explaining, Elmer. Before we dive deeper, can you give me an idea of the pricing for inboxghost.ai and what kind of return on invest I can expect?
Absolutely. Before we get into it, though, I'd love to understand more about your company. It's like, just imagine going to a restaurant, looking at a menu, and me giving you the prices for everything, but without you knowing what you wanted, right? So at the end of the day, I want to understand more, just like what you guys are doing today. So what are you doing to make sure your emails are getting delivered?
I understand your point, El, but I prefer to focus on the value and cost up front. Could you give me a ballpark figure for your pricing and explain how it directly improves email deliverability? That will help me decide if this is worth exploring further.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'll give you a range. It can actually range between $5,000 to around $15,000. But again, It's just going to be dependent on what you're looking for. So just going back to it, I mean, are your emails even getting delivered right now? Do you know? Are you able to track that somehow?
Thanks for sharing the range, Elma. Helpful. But before I answer your question, can you clarify what kind of ROI I can expect if I invest in Inbox Ghost AI? How does it ensure my emails land in the primary inbox, and what measurable results have others seen?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, again, the ROI is going to be dependent on what you guys need, right? So I'm going to ask you again, like, what are you guys, what's your biggest challenge with email deliverability?
I appreciate your persistence, Elmer, but I really need to understand the tangible benefits first. Can you share specific examples or metrics from other clients that show how InboxGhost.ai improves their email deliverability and ROI? That will help me see if this aligns with my needs.
Absolutely. So there was a company just like yours that I was talking to yesterday. We just closed. And that customer has already been able to see a 50% over ROI just from being able to get their emails delivered to the prospects, right? It's like doing a cold call and calling the wrong people the whole time. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, this is going to affect revenue if you're not actually able to reach the right people and reach them at the right time. So what are you guys doing?
I see where you're coming from, Elmer, and a 50% ROI sounds promising. However, I still need more clarity on how this works specifically. Could you briefly explain the key features or technology that ensures emails bypass spam filters and land in the primary inbox? That will help me better understand the value.
Are you getting stuck in spam filters?
Elmer, I'm not entirely sure about that, but I'd like to know how your solution specifically prevents emails from getting stuck in spam filters. Could you explain that briefly?
Yeah, are your emails getting stuck in spam filters?
am not certain, Elmer, but I'd prefer to focus on how your solution works. Can you explain the specific methods or technology InboxGhost.ai uses to ensure emails avoid spam filters?
Yeah. I mean, we try to get around domain restrictions and all that by having multiple email domains and just making sure that the emails are warmed up before sending them out. Are
Got
you
it,
guys
Elmer.
doing any
Thanks
kind of
for
email warm right now?
Elmer, I'd prefer to keep this focused on your solution. Can you share how long it typically takes for clients to see results after implementing InboxGhost.ai? That's an important factor for me.
I mean, look, depending on what you need and what you're looking for. So, but you're not really giving me anything, and it's kind of, I really truly need to understand a little bit better what your challenges are and where your needs are. So it's hard to tell you, to be honest. So if you could just walk me through your current process of making sure emails get delivered, I would love to hear that.
I understand, Elmer, but I'm really looking for a solution that demonstrates clear value up front. If you can't provide more specific on how quickly results are typically seen or the measurable impact, I might need to pass for now. Can you clarify that, or should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, there's no way for me to show you the ROI perspective without understanding your guys' needs. So maybe there just isn't a fit here. So I appreciate your time today. So you have a good one.
Thanks for your time, Elmer.
We got it's definitely clear that Skeptical Stu, I don't ever want to talk to that person. Anna seems way more chill now, as y'all said in the chat. So I know we're 3 minutes over. Thanks for hanging out with us still here. Now we're gonna go into the voting here. So Elmer, Elliot, who do you think won? Also, as well, if you were like, this has been fun and I want to test it myself, JustCall as well also has their own thing that you can start testing yourself. So I just threw it in there in the chat. If you want to go start messing around with the AI yourself, go definitely do that and go check it out. Let us know who you thought won in the chat. Looks like Elmer's getting some glove fields so far, but let us know in the chat who you think won. And then as we wrap up here, right? As we wrap up here, yeah, definitely Stavo, definitely go check that out. Again, check out if you want to go do AI yourself and you want to go against Skeptical Stu, which I wouldn't recommend that, honestly, unless you are completely psychotic. I would stick with Anna. You could definitely go have some fun and realize this is a lot harder than what you think. Because I even called it and I was like, wait, whoa, Stu's ridiculous. But as we wrap here, as people are voting, Deren, anything you want to give on that call and talk about? Elmer, if you want to talk about the call, and then I know we're 4 minutes over, we'll get out of here.
So I thought there was a couple. I thought it was great. I thought a couple of things I would point out. I think the way to beat Anna, and I don't know about Skeptical Stu, would be when you asked about some of the pain points, are you having these issues? I think in with like the one difference is the real prospect, you're gonna get a yes or a no out of that question versus deflection. And I'd hope that's like you're in. And like, to be fair to the AI, it's funny, I get a good kick out of these because we have like 200 plus customers at JustCall using some of these AI agents, mostly for support use cases, which is hilarious because they definitely don't have that tone. It's the exact opposite, right? How can we help you? That type of stuff. But that's one thing I would call out. The second thing is, and just because I haven't said this yet, I think it actually applied to many of you, is when someone's grilling you on pricing like that, instead of giving a price, obviously ballpark, I always like to say or train my teams to explain how the pricing works. Oh, for pricing, I'm going to need the number of users. I'm going to need X, Y, and Z. This is it's a platform plus this. And sometimes you can use that as a deflection. And so, but yeah, I thought it was a really good job. I thought you were persistent. I like the reverse selling a little bit. Lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I really like the persistence that you had there too. I think you did a fantastic job of keeping it going, but also, again, like I talked about, you used really good listening to understand what was going on, to ask the right questions and moving forward in the conversation, right? And that's ultimately the key. And I think and also you knew when to diffuse, being like, hey, this just isn't for me, like I'm out, right? And I think that's a really big component of the seller, is to know when to do that, right? Is to be like, yeah, okay, like I hear you, but like it's time for me to get out of here, right? Based on what's going on, which is ultimately the key, right? And what you're looking to do. So as we wrap up, y'all, hopefully you all got some benefit and stuff out of this. I know we're 6 minutes over. There's some questions that came in. We'll on the back end, we'll look to answer those questions that you sent in. And definitely, again, like I said, go check out that to, go play around with it and have some fun. But also as well, looks like we had Elmer win on this side, and looks like we had Will win as well. So it looks like Will and Elmer won. So shout out to y'all for winning the duo here, and for all 4 of you for just participating, having some fun. We had some laughs as well, but we also learned. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Hopefully see y'all again, and yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day and you learned something. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.